Hey guys, it's Sign here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're doing another short slam dunk review here. So today we're looking at chapters 15 through 18, which are collected in this second volume of this Mexican edition of this like special Taihiko Inoue collection, I guess. They have a set of vagabond volumes that look quite similar. And this is by Taihiko Inoue, like I said. It's published by Panini Manga Mexico. And like I said, the chapters here are 15 through 18. This is basically the kind of affirmation of Sakuragi's desire to join the team, right? The demographic is shonen. This used to be on Shonen Jump. The genres here are sports and basketball specifically, and there is an element of romance that underlines the whole thing, right? And in adaptation-wise, it does have one. It has two, actually. So it has the anime that everyone likes, and it also has that one movie that came out a few years ago. I don't know if it's any good or not, but people have watched it before, seem to have enjoyed it. I have not, but it is available on Netflix if you're interested, right? And ratings-wise for this arc, I think it's a 4 out of 5. I think in general, if you look at the whole series up to this point, I would give it like a 5 out of 5, because at this point, this is like proper, like we got somewhere here, right? But if we're just looking at this part of the story by itself, it's a 4 out of 5. There is kind of like a lot of emotional development done here for your interest in the characters, but it's not quite what you really want. Like for me, it feels valuable, but also kind of maybe the setup to leading to this happening feels a little bit out of left field, if that makes sense. So premise-wise, basically, Sakuragi has been tentatively accepted into the basketball team by Akagi, right? By the boss of the team, or the star player, right? The captain of the team. But now there's this guy, Tatsuhiko, who wants to recruit him to the judo team. And this is due to a rivalry he has with Akagi, right? And so now Sakuragi has to fight for his freedom to choose what team he's on. And I think it's pretty interesting. It really does fall into that kind of like, in Japan, the student council group has all of the power. It has that kind of vibe to it, where the leaders of these different soccer organizations happen to have a lot of political pull within the student body, which I guess is somewhat true in like a high school setting. I personally find it to be rather untrue in a college setting, right? But in high school, at least in the high school that I went to, which was really, really small, the leaders of different, organizations were kind of relevant to like the social political aspect of the school, because they were like in charge of things, right? So I guess it's kind of true, but it's not really that valuable. And I think that if you scale up to very huge, amounts of students, it doesn't really work out that well, right? But that's not really here or there. So in terms of plotline here, this is after Sakuragi has been accepted into the team, after he messes with Coach Anzai, and after he's gained resolve and he's gotten to play his first scrimmage with the team, right? He kind of fails at it, but Sakuragi is allowed to remain on the team because Coach Anzai kind of speaks for him to an extent, and also because he's proven himself to Akagi to an extent, right? And so this starts up right after that, the next day. Sakuragi's heading to school. He's late because he's a delinquent. We got to remember this. And as he's getting to class, he gets stopped by some other guys. These happen to be second-year students, I think, and they're there to stop him because they want to recruit him to the judo team, right? They have been sent by the judo team captain, and as they're trying to talk to him, Sakuragi's not having it. He's not interested. He's like, I gotta get to class. What the hell are you guys doing here? And when they don't stop, he gets mad and they start a fight. And he beats all of them up, right? And so we transition over to the third-year class where we see Awata, who's Tatsuhiko. Awata Tatsuhiko is his name, I think. And he shows up to mess with Akagi because they used to be friends when they were kids. And then as they got older, they became rivals because Akagi told Tatsuhiko that judo is stupid, that basketball is the coolest sport ever, right? And they have this rivalry based on this idea, right? And so as Sakuragi beats those guys, we learn that Aota Tatsuhiko wants Sakuragi to join him. And especially now that he's beaten up these guys, because it shows that he has grit and power and athleticism, and he wants to recruit him to the judo team, right? But Sakuragi blows him off. And when he does, they have some sort of connection with each other because they're both deeply interested in Haruko, Akagi's younger sister, right? And so because of this, he manages to convince Sakuragi to fight him. The fight is supposed to be to decide if Tatsuhiko is going to give him some pictures he has of Haruko or not, but he's also kind of trying to get Sakuragi to join the judo team. So this fight is, this kind of duel to get these pictures, but it's also kind of like a performance or a audition to join the judo team, right? But Sakuragi's not interested, right? And so they spend a lot of time in this kind of funny way where it's like, okay, I'll give you these pictures if you join the team. And then he's like, I want the pictures, but I don't want to join the team. And so they keep doing this over and over again, and they're both really stupid. And eventually they just have to start fighting, right? And so they do. And he judo flips Sakuragi. And then Sakuragi gets mad and beats the shit out of him. And then Aota grabs him. They lock arms. And then Sakuragi manages to position himself in such a way that he also judo throws Tatsuhiko, right? And then when he throws Aota, this is when the battle ends, right? He has shown superiority in some way, and Sakuragi asserts that he's not interested in judo. He is a basketball player. And the thing is that as this was happening, Akagi, Ayako, and the guy with glasses, I can't remember his name, saw this, right? And they are happy and relieved that Sakuragi says that he is a basketball player, that he asserts his position on the basketball team, because this is valuable to them, right? And Akagi finds respect for Sakuragi finally, right? Because he has proven he has guts, times over. And so he's quite happy with this. And this is when this kind of portion of the story ends. After this, we get actual basketball playing against another basketball team. So we'll get there eventually. But this stuff is quite good. I really enjoyed this arc here, this small collection of chapters, because it's really valuable for us as readers to understand Sakuragi's point of view. He joined the basketball team because he's interested in a girl, right? But once he started playing, and once he kind of became aware of it, his ego and his interest and his desire for structure, I guess you could call it, has led him to think that being a basketball player is valuable. He yearns for that awesome moment when he dunks, right? And the only way to get that is by playing basketball. And so he is a basketball player now. And I like that. I think it's great. In terms of characters, Sakuragi affirms that he's a basketball player. We get introduced to Tatsuhiko Aota, who's the judo captain, and he's Akagi's rival within the school. Akagi has a lot of rivals throughout the story so far. But this one is one that I find is fun because, there is some conflict within the school. But at the same time, it feels unnecessary. Like, what is the point of this, right? This is not an overall sports series. This is a basketball series. And so Sakuragi dealing with this doesn't really mean much because there was no way that he'd be anything but a basketball player, right? That's what the point of this story is. It wouldn't be called Slam Dunk if it was about judo, right? And so, although I like the storytelling elements, the value of having this guy show up here in this moment is kind of mild. It's not that much, right? It would have been interesting if maybe it was a guy that used to go to Shohaku school and then moved to a different one. And when he saw that Akagi had a new protege, he decided to show up and try to get Sakuragi to switch schools, right? Like, that would have been more valuable. That might have been also very unlikely. And so maybe that's why they went with the judo captain thing. But it feels unnecessary to introduce a character like this, right? World building wise, we learned that Shohaku's high school judo team is quite good. They're actually very good. And they are more or less the best sports team that the school has. And the only other one that can really compete with them is the basketball team, right? So Akagi and Tatsuhiko are rivals in all senses, right? And I think it's pretty fun. Art-wise and fan service-wise, there's really good artwork here. There is no fan service, but there are those kind of classic Japanese like girls in sports wear, which is like weird bloomers and white shirts. Nothing special here, but for the time period, this is probably pretty enjoyable for like the 14-year-olds that were reading the series, right? But as a modern person, it's like, okay, there's nothing valuable here, right? In that sense. But the artwork is great. I really enjoy the judo stuff because Takiko Inoue's ability to draw like the keyframes of motion that give you that feeling of like weightlessness, right? Or that feeling of like action is phenomenal. He has an amazing ability there with that. So really enjoyed the artwork here. No fan service, like I said. Ratings wise, 4 out of 5. There's really good stuff here with the development of Sakuragi's character. The arc is rather short. And of course, the issue is that I don't think Aota is a valuable character to introduce here. So those are my thoughts here on Slam Dunk. Arc 3, basically, chapters 15 through 18. The next arc that I'll be talking about is 19 through 48, I think. And that is basically the first major game that the characters play against another school, against Roinan, right? So stick around for that. I'll be back sometime this week to talk about that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys later.